Hi, welcome to the very first episode of my new podcast, Becoming Kelley. I'm Bree Thompson, soon to be Kelley, and I'm really glad you're here. This first episode is all about me just sharing my story, where I've been, how I got here, and everything in between. I've been dancing since I was 2. I went to baking school after high school. I became a CNA. I had some pretty tough relationships, stuff that really shaped me into who I am. Grew up as an only child on my mom's side, but one of like 8 or 9 on my dad's side. The middle of 3 grandkids. It's been a ride. I've gone through some toxic relationships, a couple heartbreaks, a marriage I knew deep down wasn't right. And somehow all of it led me to the love of my life, my fiance, Maddie. And we've been together for 4.5 years now. And our journey's been pretty wild, but like in the best way. I'm starting this podcast to share what I've learned and what I'm still figuring out, and to be super real all about the stuff that people don't talk about and the things that I've been through and have made me who I am. We're going to talk about mental health, relationships, starting a business, and probably a few awkward or funny stories and bad things that have happened to me. I'll even have some guests on. I'm trying people who have made a very big impact on my life and who are in my small inner circle, and people that mean a lot to me. So yeah, this is me. Thanks for being here. Let's get into it. So obviously the first episode is always really boring because it's kind of a get to know me. Tell me 5 fun things about yourself. Like, they're terrible, right? It's like you start a new class or you get to know somebody and you have to talk about all the weird things you just wish you could skip past and you just wish you already knew them all. So we're just going to get those boring things over with very quickly. My name's Bree Thompson, soon to be Kelley, hence Becoming Kelley. I graduated in 2017, high school, and then I decided I wanted to go to community college for baking, and then quickly decided that was not what I wanted to do. I ended up going to get my CNA certification so I could work as a CNA. So that's my education background, as well as having a lot of other side things on my resume. I am an only child on my mom's side, but I am one of like 8 or 9 or something on my dad's side, in the very middle of the 3 grandchildren. I also am a mom to a fur baby. His name is Joj. He is a Chiweenie, a Chihuahua wiener dog, long-haired mix. Absolutely love him. I share him with my beautiful fiance, Maddie. Maddie and I have been together for about 4.5 years. She proposed last October, and excuse me, and we are getting married this October. So very excited, but those like boring whatever, but we're just going to kind of deep dive into things. I jotted some things down in the notes app on my phone because I just wasn't really sure which way was best of me doing this. So if I'm rambling, I'm sorry, but thanks for listening to the first episode. If you're here, you're just going to get to know a lot of random information. Also, a lot of my mannerisms, the way I talk, like my verbiage and that kind of stuff. I'm working on my life, okay? I know that my vocabulary is not where it should be. I'm working on it, but give me a break. But anyways, so I kind of wrote down like walking through life stages and some milestones and kind of just explaining that. So hobbies. I was dancing since I was 2. I grew up doing ballet, tap, hip hop, jazz, gymnastics. I only did gymnastics for a short time when I was really little, and other than that, that was the only like sport or extracurricular that I was in growing up. Other than that, I just spent a lot of time and grew friends, outside at that time, where we all just went outside and you had to come home when the streetlights were on. So I lived a lot with my grandparents, and they lived in a circle in a neighborhood that had a lot of other kids my age. So grew up around them, as well as I was in Girl Scouts. I guess that might be an extracurricular. Fun fact about that, everybody was so mad I was in Girl Scouts because, well, the Girl Scouts were mad I was in Girl Scouts because I won a couple years in a row for like top seller or the most cookies sold or something like that. And the parents thought it wasn't fair because my mom helped me sell a lot of them. My mom worked as a server in a restaurant. And so she would take it and put one up in the back in the kitchen and have everybody fill it out. And then my grandma was also working at that time, and she worked at Lowe's, and she did the same thing. And, by that time, we had 2 whole sheets filled out, and I hadn't gone anywhere. No doors. We didn't go door to door. That wasn't a thing. But yeah, so people were kind of mad. They were like, you're cheating. You didn't even do it. You didn't, like, you just hung it up and made people buy cookies, but whatever. Anyways, we can talk more about my childhood later. I grew up having a really crazy, bubbly personality. I think that guided a lot of my life. I was very chatty. I was always the one who would talk no matter where I got moved, always in trouble for talking during class. Like, very stereotypical ADHD only child, right? Like only child syndrome. I need you to pay attention to me. I was genuinely pretty happy about my personality. I grew up, I wanted to have friends from a very young age, obviously, like everybody wants to be liked and everything. But after dance, I ended up stopping in freshman year of high school. I think I was 14 or 15 by that time. So like 12, 13 years of dancing. And I decided that I wanted to go into cheerleading instead. So freshman year, I tried out, didn't make it. So sad. And then sophomore year, I continued to work at it. And then I did make it sophomore year, continued through the end of my junior year, but I didn't do it senior year. I had a relationship in high school that was very toxic, very abusive. But when you're that young, you think that relationship is all that matters at that time. But it became really close with his family, and we were together for a few years. And I want to say we broke up before senior year, but now we're at graduation. Crazy time, right? I'm not sure what I was going through until senior year because I mentally block out parts of my life. But I know I missed way too many days of school, and I have no idea how I graduated. But other than that, I moved on, and I was on to baking. I wanted to go to community college, like I said. For that, quickly realized I was not interested in that. So, yeah, took the year off, went and got my CNA certification. And then I was in another relationship after that. That was also not great. Went through a pretty hard breakup after living with that person. Learned a lot of life lessons, but got close to that person's family. And I think that was the one that really hurt, losing people's family. Like, it was more you lost everybody in the whole family, not just the person you were in a relationship with. She had mom, dad in the house, and siblings, and niece and nephew. And so there was just always somebody around. So growing up as an only child, obviously I was bored and alone most of my days. So after that terrible, cheating, awful relationship, I tried to be single and fell into a mental health hole. I started to go through the motions of mental health. I unfortunately genetically received anxiety and depression from my maternal side. My mom and my grandma both suffer with anxiety and depression. And so, but of course, our future generation just brushes things off and never take care of anything. So, of course, the 2 people ahead of me that did suffer from these things just never got help for it. And we're just like, well, that's life. You just have to do it. So now, as my generation decided, okay, I'm going to start figuring out what the hell, like, what are we doing? I need to know what the hell my brain is going through. How can I live life with this terrible voice in the back of my head and these terrible, anxious feelings all the time? But yeah, so fell into a mental hole there, trying to figure out my mental health. And I rushed into a relationship with someone I barely knew. And that relationship progressed very quickly because I thought once I checked all the boxes, I could be happy. Like, find somebody, get married, have kids, be a stay-at-home mom, then figure out your mental health, like, just get all the steps out of the way, and like, then you can deal with it. Again, that's very unfortunate to other people that were involved. And I did not, at that time, I didn't know how to navigate my mental health issues yet. And I always carry a little bit of resentment for that. Or not resentment, but guilt. I always carry a little bit of guilt with that, in the sense that I just hadn't known how to deal with my mental health issues and the way that they affect my life yet. And so other people were affected. But I rushed into a marriage knowing that that was not for me. But again, clouded brain here. I got married, ended up falling in love with someone who unfortunately was close and had known the person I married for a very long time, and they had a history and a friendship, and long story short, for another episode, but we can deep dive into that. But I ended up reaching out to Maddie, my current fiance, telling her what I was feeling and how thankfully, she reciprocated her feelings, and she did feel the same way. We both tried to navigate going through that breakup of the marriage that I was in and my mental health issues. And so she was there with me navigating that emotionally and physically, and, helped me work out the issues and everything through divorce. But fast forward, divorced. We've been together now 4.5 years and engaged to be married in October. But since being together, we've been through so much emotionally, and we've traveled so much, and we've created so many memories together. And of course, we're going to have quite a few episodes with Maddie, because you're going to love her, promise. But next steps. So I just felt like this would be a good time also to chime in and have a little where are we going? That type of situation. So I wrote down next steps. Starting this podcast to document what I've been learning, what I'm going through, as well as what my past looks like, how it's shaped me, who I am, who I'm becoming, starting a business and the details of that, the meetings that I go to, and the current updates on that process throughout this series. Diving deeper into the relationships that I've had, current, past relationships, bridges that have burnt, friendships that are no longer, the trauma that I've been through in my life, and the counseling and therapy that I've been through because of the trauma in my life, and how that's helped me and the things I've learned from it, how to cope in case that's you don't have access to help with your mental health, and I can put out the things that helped me and the things that I was told that would help me that didn't help me. And just my my journey through all of that. My goal is to occasionally have guests that are people in my life that I look up to, or that I've learned from, or aspire to be like, core family members. You'll hear about frequently throughout the show. Hopefully I can have multiple family members on to give you a different perspective of certain topics that we've talked about. But so that's kind of the deep dive on this. This is the little get to know me kind of show. I'm really excited. I think I will do a little bit better once I start getting a little bit more comfortable. But I'm pretty proud of how far we've come. I never would have been able to take action and just start something 6 months ago. I would have been like, oh, no, it has to be perfect. We can't just start it. No. So I actually decided just start it and go with it. And if you have to fucking change it, you change it. It's fine. You're not the failure because you had to fucking rebrand or whatever, So I'm just trying to give myself a little bit of grace, and a lot of thoughts and stuff that go through my head and know where to put them. So I guess you're going to be hearing a mouthful. Also, there's a lot of things that I have been through in my past that I would love to share, to just get off my chest, for one, and for two, point out the fact that, again, other people are going through things, and social media is a fucking highlight. That is literally the point of social media. Nobody gets on social media and fucking shares the downfalls of their life, and it's more common now, and I'm appreciative for that. So that's why I'm adding that to my journey. So I figured if people are sharing the terrible things that have happened to them, I want to jump on that train. So I am trying to listen to my body and my heart and my brain and go after what it says instead of society's backlash. So here we are. I have a few guests that I am interested in having on. I have a couple of people, family members wise, that I can kind of tell you about. That way you won't be like, who is that? So let's do a little get to know me, or get to know them. Get to know them. The people in my life that are in my smallest circle, closest to me and know everything about me and things that have happened to me. So yeah, first, obviously, we are going to start with Maddie. She's my fiance. Again, been together 4.5 years. She is 26. She will be 27. I can't believe that. She will be 27 in June. And she started the military at a young age. I think she did like ROTC or whatever the year before. So she actually signed up when she was like 17. She's been through a deployment, so I'm excited to bring her on to talk about that. And we weren't together for that. So we have been together for there's been so many times that she's had to leave for weeks at a time, or just small quick trips and stuff. But we weren't together for her deployment. That was at the very beginning of her military journey. So I'm hoping she can explain a little bit of that and share some insight there and kind of let you deep dive into those things, because there's a lot of stuff that I've learned from her just picking up over the years that I'm like, wow, I had no idea, or, so just cool, fun things to know. Why not? Share it for fun. And then the next person I wanted to talk about is my godbrother, William. His mother is my godmom. She grew up with my mom, and they've known each other since, I want to say, high school, before college, I want to say. She's known me my whole life. I was her first kid, because Will is a year and some younger than me. And so basically I gave her all the experience to be able to bring Will into this world. But I always say I'm the oldest. She counts me as her kid. And then I'll explain, she also has 2 kids, that are not William. So she has 3 kids, William, and then 2 younger siblings from William that we call the twins, not because they're twins, just because they look like twins. Will has a separate dad from these other 2 kids. So it's funny that we all just kind of like, all 4 of us look different except for the twins. That's why we call them twins. But obviously Brandy is not my mom, but since she has kind of taken me under her wing, whenever we take pictures, I'm always the shortest. Let me tell you right now, Brandy, everybody in that family is so fucking tall, okay? Let me just tell you right now, everybody in my fucking life is tall, okay? I don't think I'm that fucking short. I'm 5'2". I feel like that's like a decent height, right? I don't feel like that's crazy, but I mean, I wouldn't be sad if I was 5'5", nothing crazy, but everybody in my fucking life is over 6 foot. It's fucking insane, everybody. So, Brandy's side of the family, she's 6 foot or 6'1", her husband's 6'1", her son now is 6, I think he's like a quarter inch away from 6'2", the youngest son. The daughter wears a size 13 shoe. I'm sorry, what? What? She's fucking 12. She's fucking 12 years old. She wears a size 13. That's fucking insane. Anyways, she finally passed me up, hit her fucking growth spurt, right? So, and then, so I think she's 5'11". I don't know. Anyways, but basically, Brandy is married. Her husband's name is Dre. She has 3 kids. Will, the next one is Andre Jr., so Dre Jr. And then Sophia is the youngest, and man, is she a fucking fireball. I've been taught me so much. I've been so grateful to grow up with them in my life, my entire life, because they are the closest things that I have to siblings, even though I have siblings, but that's for another episode. I have a lot of people in my life that were there when I was growing up, and the bridges have burned, or between me and them, or my mom and them, or my family and them. So there's people that really did contribute to my life that I will not have on here and will not really talk a whole lot about, but unfortunately, sad to see people, part ways. But anyways, so we have Brandy, we have Will, we have Dre, we have Baby Dre is what we call him, so Dre Jr., and then Sophia, and then Maddie, hopefully Maddie's parents. We'll talk a lot about, I want to have my grandma on here. I love her. If you know my grandma, she is the most fashionable 75-year-old you've ever met in your life. I can promise you that. She is a firecracker. I absolutely love her, but I hope she's on here. I have to come up with some good questions to be able to ask her. I know Will and I will have so much to talk about. We probably will have there's going to be quite a few episodes, I'm sure. We don't really run out of things to talk about much. And especially to share with you guys. We're not going to run out of things to tell you. So keep updated with that. I'll probably, I have a couple of close friends, really, really close friends. Shelby and McKenna. Shelby, I've known since high school. McKenna, I met working at Lululemon. And McKenna's also in the Air Force with military, or with Maddie. So that's also kind of a little small world situation. But basically she's moved here from Boston. So she wasn't even from here. I'm excited for her to tell her story. A little bit about her. Oh my God, I can't wait to bring on my hairdresser. I say she's my hairdresser. We had sleepovers at age 7. I have known her my entire life. I have always loved her. I've always been so proud of her. Her name is Madison Eckler. She is on my Instagram if you are interested in looking into her hair page. If you are in Omaha, she has a chair out in a salon in Waterloo. It is so, so cute. She does incredible work. I know she's not looking for clients. So if you are looking for somebody to do special things like your wedding or something like that, maybe reach out to her. But the other ladies that work there are incredible. The vibe is immaculate. It's called One Salon. So look into them, ladies, if you need somebody to get your hair done. I go and I get my extensions done from her. But anyways, Madison Eckler, love her. But we grew up going roller skating together. We have so many memories, terrible photos I want to put up. And hopefully this podcast will soon become a video podcast, but I'm not super experienced in technology, so I'm just going to start with the voice, and then once I can figure out how to edit that and get comfortable with it, then maybe I'll add in the video. I just feel like it's more entertaining. I appreciate the videos more, but some of the stuff you can listen to in the car. So, what's next? Maddie's parents. Maddie also has 2 sisters. She's the youngest of 3 girls, and her parents, Shelly and Joel, maybe they'll be on here. I don't know that Joel will be on here. He's a man of very few words, but he's great. Shelly, we are the exact same individual. I'm going to force her to be on here because she's not going to want to, and I'm going to have to make her do it. But you will see we are very similar. We have a lot of the same qualities. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. Ask her. Ask Maddie. But yeah, so quite a few people that I'm really excited about to have on, and people from lots of different views of life and just trips and vacations and experiences I've had, and, really good highlights. Maddie and I, 3 years ago, went to Africa, and I can't wait to talk about that and share pictures, and I'm just so excited to share more with you guys, whoever you guys are. I can't wait. It's genuinely going to be a really cool experience. Sometimes I feel like there's going to be parts where I'm not going to know what to talk about, or there's blank space and I feel like I want to just elaborate more, but I feel like maybe some fun facts about me wouldn't be terrible to know. 3 words people would use to describe me would probably be Bold. Oh boy, I don't know. I would say I'm bold. I don't beat around the bush. I'm blunt. I'm just going to tell you how it is. I feel like today's people who know me would say that I'm pretty chill for the most part. I can be hyper and I can be crazy or have a good time and go out and be social, but my social battery is genuinely very low. So I'm not really the most out of the house kind of person. But homebody, is that one word? Can I consider that one word? But that's what they would use. Also, I don't know, fashionable, which I can't even say anymore because I feel like I have flopped when it comes to fashion now. I have just started following trends, and that's something I'm trying to get out of. I'm trying to figure out who the fuck am I when it comes down to somebody explaining me or looking me up on Pinterest. What do you see? What are the things, what's the vibe? I'm trying to figure out who the fuck I am that's not trendy, because it's hard not to follow trends. They are fun, they are exciting, and everybody is a victim to that. However, a lot of the time we have these trends become our entire personality. And then you're just a basic bitch. Literally, that is the fucking definition of a basic bitch. You're just like everybody else because you don't know who the fuck to be when somebody's not telling you this is who you need to be. And so I'm just now learning those things. I'm excited to open up on those more. I'm trying to do a little bit more experiences, but I think I'll forever be on a mental health journey. It's never ending. It's something I live with. So I think living with mental health and living with anxiety is hard, and it sucks sometimes because it really does prevent me and Maddie from going out and doing specific things or going specific places. And sometimes that sucks to be the reason other people can't do certain things, and you kind of feel like you're holding people back. So that's also something I'm working on. I'm probably going to deep dive. Oh, I should go to my deep dive topics. These are things that I want to touch base on and things you can be excited for about episodes that I want to make. So let's go to that. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Okay, actually, go back to who I'm going to have on the podcast. So people who in Omaha who are retired community idols. We have a couple of people who we know, family friends of ours who are very well known in our community. And if I can even get a sliver of their time to chat, that'd be cool. So we're going to focus on that. I do not have my father in my life, but I do have quite a few really good male figures to look up to. And the top one is probably going to be Train. Yes, I said Train. Choo choo, chugga chugga. All right. He is the dopest individual I've ever met in my entire life. He is literally probably 60% of the reason why I act the way I act now, in the good ways. I've learned so many valuable life lessons from him and where he's been in his life. I don't know that he's going to be able to sit down and let me interview him, but I can maybe get some quotes from him or ask him some questions. He's not big on any of that, but we'll see. Also, really close friends that we have made over the last few years. One of those being Mildred. Her name is Mildred. That's her American name. She is who we went with to Africa. Her family is actually from there. So I really want to get her on here to chat about that and everything she's experienced and her coming to this city, coming to the States and her life since then and having kids and how she raises them and that sort of thing. And that, the background around her culture. It's really inspiring. And I would love to have her on here. Also, I am trying to start a business. I'm not going to tell you all the ins and outs of that because it's very sacred to me as being a very first small business owner. I'm protecting it. I don't want anybody to steal my idea. I don't want anybody to do it before me. So I'm trying my best to really work my ass off to get this little business that I'm trying to start running. But with that being said, I had no fucking idea where to start. I'm like, where the fuck am I supposed to start with small business? Who the fuck's gonna help me do that shit? Well, Train, family figure or father figure, he is very experienced and educated when it comes to stocks and investing and, finances and real estate and all things government and that type of thing. So I reached out to him and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck to do, Also, I don't know why it never crossed my mind, not one time. After being there, visiting her, Brandy works at UNO. They offer a small business foundation at Nebraska Department, the Nebraska NBDC, Nebraska Business Department Center, I think. I don't know. I might be wrong. Anyways, basically it's small owner thing. They help you with everything, like everything from start to finish with your business to be able to get it started, to get it off the ground, to take it to the bank, all the things you need. So I have been really, really loving the lady I'm working with. Her name is Birdie. And I would love to be able to have her on or be able to have like a little chat with her and ask her some questions because she's really been inspiring and a lot of help when it comes down to starting this business and everything. I wouldn't know 90% of the things if it wasn't for her. So I would love to have her on. And then we're also friends with another gay couple because we love the gays, okay? That's one thing about Maddie and I. We are always going to be an ally before a part of the LGBT community. Like we always root for people, but yeah, we're part of it, but we love other gays. We're like, you go, bitch. Like drag queens, all that. We are fucking here for it. I will specify right now in this clip when I say that we love the gays. However, there are some fucking exceptions. Don't get that twisted because I'm sorry, furries and all that. No, absolutely not. Nope. There are some things where we draw the fucking line. But, you do you. We want everybody to be happy. And if that's, that's your life, that's your life. We love it. Anyway, so we're friends with a couple of gay couples. But one of the gay couples that we're friends with, absolutely fucking love them. Maddie met through the military, one of them. And then we ended up getting to go over there and meet her wife. And so now we're friends with both of them. We love them. Their names are Cheyenne and Emily Timby. So what's funny is, okay, little side tip. Everybody, obviously, if you aren't familiar with this, everybody in the military goes by their last name. That's what's on their uniform. That's how people refer to them, So like Maddie doesn't go by Maddie. She goes by Kelley. So like, which is also a first name and kind of trippy. But again, like her supervisor's last name is Joseph. So like, again, you would think his first name is Joseph. It is not. But a lot of people go by their last name. And so when Maddie comes home and she refers to certain people or whatever, she never tells me their first name. I'm like, oh, okay, Timby. Yeah. So like, I'm just thinking Timby, I know that that's their last name, but I don't ever refer to her as Emily. I'm like, oh yeah, did you talk to Emily? Like, who? Like, we know it's like, oh yeah, did you talk to Timby? Like, she knows who the fuck I'm talking about. We talk to, like, that's how we talk to them. They call her Kelley. Like, it's just how it is. I don't know. Anyways, but that and one odd thing when you get in a relationship with somebody is that you just really have to adapt to military time, whether you want to or not. They have to adapt to it. So you kind of just adapt with them. Also, it's never a bad skill to have. I turned mine on for fun so that I could learn, and I learned. So I highly recommend doing it. Why not? Have an extra skill, bitch. Learn something. Okay. So yeah, we're going to have all of them. Okay, now we're going to go to the topics. Actually, no, we're not. Sorry. I'm going to tell you a couple of the podcast names that I had that I really wanted to do that I ended up not using. So I'm from Nebraska, obviously. If you're listening and you know me, duh, okay? If you don't know, Nebraska, our big thing here is corn, okay? We're the Corn Huskers. That's our football team, our college football team. We don't have a pro team in Nebraska, so at colleges, and we suck. But that's besides the point. That's all we have. That's the only football team we have. Then that's what we're going to love. So the Cornhuskers. Corn is really funny. It's a big thing here, kind of like Wisconsin with cheese and that type of thing, like whatever. I really wanted it to be called Corny. I just thought that was funny. But obviously we didn't go with that. I also really loved the name Off Topic, but I guess multiple podcasts can have the same name, and I just fucking hate that. That's not right. I get it. Like, there's only so many names, but no. Like, that's like saying, oh yeah, I went to Walmart. Like, oh, really? Like, you went in the grocery side or the regular side? Like, oh no, it's a boutique. Like, bitch, what? No, come on. Get it together. We're not fucking, like, no. You need to distinct yourself from somebody else, and that is just not right to me. So I obviously had to do something that was not that. So here we are with Becoming Kelley. I was also going to do Selective Memory, which also isn't a terrible name. I have the worst memory. It is one thing about me that has guided me to want to start this podcast, because I forget a lot of shit. I'm not going to lie. I forget a lot. There's a lot that's happened to me that, traumatically I've chosen to block out of my life, and out of my memory. And so there's things that I just don't remember because I chose not to. I chose to just stuff it to the back, and it burnt on the back burner. So we don't know what's in there anymore. So I kind of wanted to do selective, like the things I do remember, and share those. But the last one is It's Not About You Anymore. And I really like that topic. I really like that title, but it's just fucking long. Like, I think even Becoming Kelley is long. Like, I just wanted to have something that was like, welcome back to, I started listening to Avery Wood's podcast, Cheers. Welcome back to Cheers. Some easy. It just rolls off the tongue. Just welcome back to, I just wanted something shorter. But anyways, so Becoming Kelley is cool. Okay, now we're on to topics. Sorry. So we did the Get to Know Me. That's this one. We can check that off. We're checking it off together, y'all. Okay. Topics and also things that we'll deep dive on. I decided I am going to start a deep dive series on here. I think we're just literally going to call it Deep Dive. And it's going to be just one specific topic per episode, and we're just deep diving on that one topic. We're not talking about 3 different things in one episode. We're just going to nail it right in the fucking, hit it head on. So deep dive series, I'm excited for that. I thought a couple of episode ideas for deep dive could be all the jobs that I've had. If I liked them, if I didn't like them, how they were, the people I met when I worked there, my fucking supervisors, and the best job I've ever had and the worst job I've ever had, and those type of things. I feel like that would just be a really entertaining one and something that would be really easy for me to talk about. Another one is obviously specifically my childhood, not just growing up, but my childhood, adolescent before high school. Just kind of those experiences, the friends I made, the terrible experiences I went through, and friendships that were never real, or that type of thing, just in my childhood, and trying to figure out who I am and make friends and that type of thing. I feel like that's a really good deep dive, but it might be a little, it might be a trauma episode has a warning at the beginning. So just keep that in mind. And then not speaking to my dad's family. I do not speak with one single individual from my dad's side of the family, my sperm donor side. I do not speak to one of those individuals, not one. So that would be a really good one to touch on, and why, and who they are, and what they've done to me, and why I don't talk to them. And then another one, obviously, is my journey with mental health. Just in general, from start to now. Just how I started recognizing that I was dealing with mental health issues, the advice that was given to me, how I dealt with that, the things I went through. Progress is not linear. So obviously I went from recognizing that I was in the fucking dirt. Like, you were in rock bottom, bitch. Okay, well, great. Noticing is step one. So that we're going up. And we went back down once we got really happy in a relationship, and we started just eating and eating and eating, and we're comfy and we're smoking, we're vaping. And like, it was a terrible fucking time in my life. And I was in a really deep hole. And just how I got out of that, and the things that helped me, and the things that didn't help me, the way I coped, the way things happened to me, and they may not be right, I'm not trying to sit here and say, these are the things you should do if you're dealing with mental health. Like, no, don't listen to me. I'm not a fucking doctor. But the things that have happened to me, the things that I did when I thought that was the right thing to do, and it wasn't, or it was, and just how those things have ended up in my life. But yeah, other topics. We already said, like, jobs, all the jobs I've had, that's a deep dive. Another topic I thought we could touch on, whether that's a deep dive or just, one in an episode of a couple, but ex-friends. So specifically best friends, or specifically friendships, not relationships, but exes, as in people who are no longer in our life. They were a friend at one time, and we just, whether we could or couldn't see ourselves rekindling with these people, or how they treated us, or what they did to become an ex-friend, and that type of situation. And then life lessons learned thus far. Obviously, I feel like that's kind of just it. They're sprinkled in everywhere. Like today, this week, this is what I learned, so there's going to be random stuff sprinkled in. Also, I am so excited for this one. Having high standards is okay. Oh my, you better be ready for that episode. I don't know if that's going to be a deep dive or not. I probably feel like it should be, because it needs to be a deep dive of what my standards are and why people think they're so high. Or, just in general, like, oh, that's going to be such a good one. You better be ready for that one, bitch. That's going to be real good. And then the last one I have written down is starting a business from scratch, and how I am learning now. And the things that, that's not the last one, sorry. Things that I have learned along the way, and words I've learned, and things that actually make sense, and things I've never, like stuff about like tax exempt. Bitch, you've heard it 1,000 times. And people are like, oh, I can write this off on my taxes. What does that mean? Is it free? I don't know. Those are the things, because I'm like, I've heard it. Like, everybody goes along and you're like, yeah, you write it off on your taxes, write it off. But like, you don't know what the fuck that means, right? Like, what, are you not paying for any of it or part of it, or, and so like those things, I feel like they're just small stuff that people should know, that I've been learning, that I'm like, oh my God, everybody needs to know this shit. Also restaurants that I love is another topic. Or hyperfixation foods is another one for me. I hyperfixate on everything. Also, I should also put in here, not just mental health, but I struggled a lot with gut health up until like very, very recently. It was a very big part of my life. That was probably the third thing of when I said, what were 3 things people would describe you? Okay. A homebody, I'm bold or blunt, and IBS, bitch. Hot bitches have stomach issues, and we all know that, okay? There's not a single fucking bitch out there that is hotter than a motherfucker that hasn't been shitting her brains out, okay? I'm sorry, but no. So that is another thing we're probably going to touch on, just like I'm sorry, but that's how I live my life, like on that, it caters into a lot to my anxiety of like, I only go places that I know where the bathroom is, or I know exactly how long it will take me to get from here to here if I cut through this neighborhood, because it's quicker, because I can go to the bathroom this way. And like literally the way that my brain works. But the last couple of things I'll touch on are comfort creators on social media, and why I love them, and the things that they've done, and the things that they've said, and how I feel about that. Maybe we'll see. I don't know. That's a scary one. I don't want to, poke the bear. Everybody has their own opinions and experiences, but I never want to hurt anybody's feelings, and I'm not out here for fucking necks. You know what I mean? So obviously comfort creators, people I love, why I love them, the stuff they post that I love and I look up to, or things that I've adapted to because of them, or I bought because of them, like easily influenced or whatever. And then the last little topic that I thought could be a good one when we have multiple topics is pet peeves. Oh my God, I have a list. I got a list of pet peeves for you, bitch. We could start with loud chewing, not using your fucking turn signal. Like there's quite a few. So, yeah, thank you for listening to the intro. I cannot believe this is the end of the first podcast. I have to cut myself off. I think I've made a decent amount of content now that I can edit it and be able to post it. And even if it's not the longest one or whatever, let's just get comfortable together. But thanks for being here. I cannot wait, honestly, to start the next episode. I don't know what it should be. But yeah, thanks for being here. I'm so excited for the next one. So I'll see you there. Bye.